everybody, and welcome along to Transfer Talk.
There was obviously a lot of noise outside the club. You know, a figure as big as Jurgen Klopp moves on. He's a different type of character. He hasn't tried to impersonate Jurgen Klopp in any way. I think it was really telling at the end of the West Ham game. And towards, you know, just before the final whistle, it almost felt like you were watching Klopp in some ways on the side of the pitch. I've never really seen that before. And even at the end of the game, he went onto the pitch and gave a little fist pump to the Kop. Not quite
not the full three,
no. But it was telling that I think he felt, as I mentioned in the interview, it'd been a tough week for him because he's not used to losing. Certainly Premier League games. So it was only the second game I think Liverpool lost all season. And there's been a calmness about him and the club. There's been a lot of noise outside with the contracts, but don't forget he didn't bring players in. He assessed the squad. He was quite calm about the fact that he didn't need to sort of buy anybody. I mean, when does that ever really happen? A new manager comes in, there's always talk of, oh, he's going to bring 2 or 3 players from his old club. Or, you know, the division that he's been in, the Eredivisie. But that didn't happen. And that's one of the things I do like, not just about Slot, but actually the club right now. There is a sort of, it's quiet. It's not. There's a lot of turmoil around other bigger clubs about managers and players coming in left, right, and centre. But as Liverpool, it always just feels like they're in control. They're not going to be swayed even by their own supporters at all. And but I still do believe that there is a big job to be done in the summer. And I think having assessed the team over the last 12 months, even though they're going to win the league, I do think that's when he'll put his real imprint on this team next season.
I think he's still in a job because I think the powers that be and Manchester United have made that many mistakes so far in decisions that they've made on and off the pitch that they almost don't want to admit right now that they've made another. And this has been a disaster for Manchester United, but also Ruben Amorim. What he did at Sporting Lisbon was fantastic. You know, he looked like the next big thing as a manager, but bringing a manager like that in terms of the system that he played, I don't think ever really suited the club of the traditions of Manchester United. And the quicker Manchester United make the decision on the manager, I think it's better for everybody because, as I said, it's been a disaster for club, but also the manager. And we're only waiting for the inevitable, I think. Unfortunately, as Duncan's just said, you don't want to see people lose their jobs, but this has to end as quickly as possible.
Manchester United supporters were left seething at Old Trafford after a VAR decision many are already branding as one of the worst of the Premier League season during the fiery showdown with Tottenham Hotspur. What should have been a defining moment in the match instead became a flashpoint for outrage, disbelief, and renewed distrust in football's most controversial technology. The incident in question came after a reckless, late challenge from Christian Romero on Casemiro. The tackle looked dangerous in real time, but slow-motion replays made it even worse. Romero flying in with excessive force, catching Casemiro, and risking serious injury. Across the stadium, there was only one expectation, a straight red card. Instead, shock spread through Old Trafford. The referee waved play on, and even more incredibly, VAR chose not to intervene. No on-field review. No correction. No punishment. United players surrounded the official in disbelief, while Casemiro was left picking himself up after what many felt was a clear example of serious foul play. The decision proved pivotal. Momentum swung, Tottenham escaped without consequence, and the atmosphere inside the stadium turned toxic. Every replay shown on the big screen only fueled the anger, with fans convinced that a red card would have changed the entire direction of the match. Within minutes, social media erupted. Clips of the tackle went viral, with supporters, former players, and pundits all questioning how VAR introduced to fix clear and obvious errors could ignore such an incident. The words consistency, transparency, and accountability once again dominated the conversation, with Manchester United fans feeling they had been unfairly treated yet again. For many, this was not just about one tackle or one match. It reopened a long-running debate about VAR's purpose and reliability. How can challenges involving excessive force be overlooked? Why do similar incidents receive wildly different outcomes across games? And most importantly, why does VAR seem powerless or unwilling to act in moments that matter most? As the dust settles, One thing is certain, this decision will be replayed and debated for weeks to come. For Manchester United fans, the frustration runs deeper than dropped points. Once again, they are left asking the same haunting question echoing around Old Trafford and across social media: what is VAR really for?